You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat basement, average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Welcome to the Hardcore Patriot.
What difference at this point does it make? Mr. and Mrs. American turn them all in.
I think I found the problem here. I think I have found the problem. I think I've finally figured out why there is such a human trafficking problem in this nation. And I think it stems from the total ignorance on the left to grasp basic concepts. How do you not know what a coyote is at this point? Okay, 10 years ago, probably even longer than that, maybe 12 years ago, my youngest child knew what a coyote was, knew what a mule was. For those of you on the left who accidentally stumble across this podcast, let me explain it to you. Coyote is a Mexican, usually a drug lord or somebody like that, somebody who is leading a pack of illegal immigrants through the desert across into the American border. That's a coyote, the leader of that pack. And the problem happens when a border official, border patrol catches them, or there's some kind of problem that goes wrong. A lot of times these coyotes will strand these people who are going across the border in the middle of the desert and end up dying. President Trump, during the debate yesterday, made a comment about a coyote. And I immediately, some idiot, who is this idiot? I don't even know, Deshaun something or other, Darshan Kendrick. I don't even know who she is. Obviously a moron. Obviously, not very well read. She said, did real Donald Trump just say 545 kids can't find their parents, came over through cartels and coyotes? How does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Really? Are you that stupid? Are you that ignorant? Did you not go to school? Do you not read anything but the Communist Manifesto? And the exceptionally ignorant David Hogg, who attends Harvard University, has the IQ of a fence post, has the working knowledge of a grape. He split out something similar on social media. My God, how stupid do you people have to be? How ignorant do you have to be to look it up? If you don't understand common terminology, use a dictionary. Use the Google machine. The same smartphone you're tweeting your stupidity out, use that to look up what a coyote is if you don't understand. No wonder we got such a human trafficking problem in this nation. These people are freaking ignorant. I just don't understand it. We got a big show for you. A lot of things to talk about. Yeah, we're going to have to cover the debate, unfortunately. Don't go anywhere. I'm Alan Ray, the Hardcore Patriot, and I'm a little fired up today. Stay tuned. President Trump we saw at the debate last night is the President Trump I wish we would have been seeing for the past 4 years. Truthfully. He set aside the combative brawler, and he started actually going after Joe Biden on his policies, on his history, pointing out, what's going to happen. It's inevitable. 2 seconds after the debate, your usual suspects come out and say, oh, well, Joe Biden won the debate. Joe Biden looked lost. Trump had him in the corner. He had him cornered, and every time he would start in on him, Joe Biden would he had that blank 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. I don't know what they had Biden whacked out on, but it wasn't working. I guarantee you that. But Trump looked much better. He wasn't combative. Yeah, he might have interrupted a few times, but so did Biden, and they never cut Biden's mic. Yeah, that shows you the bias going on there. They don't want Trump to win. Trump can't win. Trump can't win. If we have 4 more years of the Trump administration, socialism as they want it goes down the crapper, and they know it. They know it. But Trump had him backed against the wall, and he asked the right questions of Biden. It's like, you've been in Washington, D.C. since 1973, Joe. How come you haven't already tried to fix these problems? You created the problems. The black community, you tried to get them all arrested. You called black men super predators. You wanted them all put in institutions, taken out of society. You racist? The things I took away from that whole debate last night is Trump got Biden to admit he screwed up politically a few times. He screwed up with his super predator law. Let's put all the black people in prison. They come to Obamacare. It's like, how come you didn't fix it, Joe? You had 8 years. 8 years. You were the vice president of the United States. Joe goes, well, I wasn't the president. And Trump had a good point. He goes, no, you have to talk to people. You have to get out there and get people to do things. You didn't do it, Joe. Why didn't you do it, Joe? That's the President Trump we should have had the last 4 years. Instead of the brawler, the person over-talking people and yelling at people and not making sense sometimes, the one you come out and say, where did you get all that money from? You should have been asking that about Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein. Where do you get all your money from? I made my money before I came to Washington, D.C. How are you worth $200 million, Nancy Pelosi, on a senator's salary? How does that happen? How does that work? Calmly? Directly? Sit back waiting for answers? I think Biden looked like a total fool last night. I don't think he did good at all. And his message at the very end about, I represent all people. You don't represent me, Joe. You don't represent me at all. You are a corrupt Washington establishment politician who has had your greasy, nasty, slimy talons buried in the money that is Washington, D.C., the money pit that's Washington, D.C., since 1973. You are a multimillionaire who hides your wealth that you have stolen from the American people in foreign bank accounts. At least Trump has made his money. If he hides it in foreign bank accounts, well, that's business. Yes, he has a Chinese bank account. You want to do business in China? You have to have a Chinese bank account. He probably doesn't even know what's in some of his bank accounts. And what really got overlooked is 1 hour before the debate last night, Tony Bobulinski, remember that name, Tony Bobulinski, used to be Hunter Biden's business associate. He came out and said flat out, Joe Biden is lying about his involvement in his overseas dealing. I'm sorry, it was 90 minutes, an hour and a half. I stand corrected. This is a quote from him. I have heard Joe Biden say he has never discussed his dealings with Hunter. That is false. I have firsthand knowledge about this because I directly dealt with the Biden family, including Joe Biden. Bobulinski said following the post-bombshell reporting on Hunter Biden's private emails. Bobulinski, who will be a guest of Trump's at the debate, showed 3 phones spanning 2015 to 2018 as evidence and said he would be meeting with the Senate and the FBI to hand over the electronics. You'll never see those again. If you turn them over to the FBI, they'll be gone. I have nothing against FBI field agents working out, squelching human trafficking that the left doesn't seem to know about. Either that or they're so involved in that they remain willfully ignorant. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. You hand them over to the FBI, especially the top of the FBI, nothing's ever going to get done. This all needs to play out in the court of public opinion. Last thing I would do is turn it over to the FBI. It'll get sucked into the vacuum. They're trying to get Hunter Biden's laptop sucked into the vacuum, so we never hear that again. Oh, give it about 30 days. They're stupid people. They'll forget all about it. Just like Hillary Clinton, no, Benghazi, give it 30 days. We haven't forgotten Hillary. It's been years. We still remember. She still needs to hang for it. Anyways, more about Bobulinski. U.S. Navy veteran said he was introduced to the former Veep in May 2nd, 2017 by Hunter Biden and lawmaker's brother Jim Biden before the Global Milken Conference in Beverly Hills, California. And he says, quote, that night we discussed the Biden's history, the Biden family's plan with the Chinese, with which he was plainly familiar, at least at a high level, he said in Memphis, Tennessee, ahead of the final debate between President Trump and Biden. And he goes on to say, I have no wish to bury anyone. I've never been political. The few contributions I have made have been to the Democrats. But what I am is a patriot and a veteran. To protect my family name, my business reputation, I need to ensure that the true facts are out there. So we get it. We get it. He's covering his own butt. All right, that's fine. That's fine because the Bidens will throw him under the bus. The Navy veteran accused former Vice President Joe Biden of being directly involved in the plot to make millions of dollars, identifying him as the, quote, the big guy, unquote, named in the May 13th, 2017 email. That email showed the four partners each getting 20% shares in the business, with 10% going to Jim and the remaining 10% held by H for the big guy, held by Hunter for Joe. Bobulinski also released hundreds of damning text messages, emails from his time as CEO of the company being formed between the Biden family and China's largest private energy company, CEFC, named Sinohawk Holdings. One of the messages sent on May 20th, 2017 by fellow Sinohawk partner, Sinohawk, whatever you say. Bobulinski was warned not to mention the Democrats' nominee involvement in Sinohawk deal. Quote, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid, unquote. A screenshot of the message read. Yeah, how is this not news? How is this not news? This, and I tell you what, you know why this is not news? Because if this breaks, if everybody starts waking up to this fact, then they're going to start asking questions about other politicians in Washington, D.C. And I'm sorry, both sides, Republican and Democrat, this is why this is never going to be a story. I look for this guy to be disappeared before too long. You'll never hear Tony Bobulinski again. All of a sudden, he'll just go, phew, be gone. But this is how you have politicians in Washington, D.C. for 20, 30 years, 10 years, who come to Washington, D.C. worth, $300,000-$400,000 and leave worth $400 or $500 million. This is how you get it, because they all do it. That's why it's called the swamp, kids. That's why people like me, who sit out here in the middle of a cornfield in southeastern Michigan and say, the federal government needs to be taken down to about, 20% of its current size. Well, you're not patriotic. You're un-American. So being American means screwing taxpayers? God doesn't even want more than 10% of my money. What does the federal government need more than 10% of my money? If you want to really put it out there. Well, this is why. Because they set up backroom deals. They get heads ups on investments. Power equals money, kids. That's the way it is. If Donald Trump hasn't done anything else in his 4 years as president, if he loses this election, and I'm going to throw it out there, I have my doubts that he's going to win. If he does, I'll be delighted. If he does, that's a 4-year reprieve from the socialism that's going to overtake this country. But something tells me he's not. They want him out, and they are going to cheat. They're going to use the courts. They're going to do everything they can to have him win this election. The only way he's going to win it is by a landslide. If it's close, they will find some way to screw him over. I've just made up my mind. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's how I'm going. But I digress. If he has done one thing in his 4 years as president, whether I agree with some of the things he does or not, whether I roll my eyes at some of the things he tweets and some of the things he says or not, I will give him this. He has somehow gotten Washington, D.C., the establishment, to expose themselves for the gaggle of criminals that they are. Whether the American people are bright enough to wake up to the fact, I've known about it all my life. I've studied it. But whether the American people are bright enough to wake up to the fact that they are being screwed. Every time they say, well, we need a new tax for this. We need a new tax for that. What they mean is we need more of your money. Yeah, and I don't understand it. The Democrats walk around. If a Democrat sees a pile of money, a Democrat politician, if they see a pile of money, they automatically start thinking how they can get it, how they can get their large portion of it. It really cracks me up. They want to go after Wall Street. You always hear them say, oh, we're going to go after Wall Street. We're going to go after the fat cats of Wall Street. Your 401k, your 401b, your investments Your retirement is in Wall Street. I guarantee you, they start attacking Wall Street, you're not going to retire. And if you do, you're going to retire in poverty. Because that's their way. They're just going to grab that money, suck it into the big hole that's Washington, D.C., and it'll just be gone mysteriously. And then when they retire to one of their 6 mansions that they got while they were serving the country, quote unquote, you will be standing in a line of 300 people, 6 feet apart, with a mask on, probably a burqa in 10 years if they have their way, trying to get a can of soup. Because when they see money, no matter who has it, they want their big cut of it. They call it redistribution of wealth. You know where the redistribution is? From your pocket to Washington, D.C. So they can suck it into one of their programs and make their 10, 20% cut on it so they can retire in luxury. They really don't care about you. If they really cared about you, there wouldn't be no inner city squalor right now. If they really cared about you, there would be no one homeless. We have that kind of money in this country. No, it's just a big shuffle game. I'll take my chances with Wall Street. Thank you very much. With them, I have more of an opportunity of getting a return on my investment. With the government, it just gets sucked out of my paycheck and I never see it again. Oh yeah, they'll throw some piddly $1,000 a month at me, $800 a month at me when I retire. That's what they'll do. No, thank you. I'll take Wall Street over the crooks over in Washington, D.C. anytime. Speaking of tax, WashingtonTimes.com came out with the Biden's tax the rich plan would ultimately hit middle-class earners, analysis finds. Really? Really? You don't say. I've only been saying this for 20, 30 years. Every time they come out with a tax the rich, I come out with this. And when you say this, and let me before I even dive into this article, let me tell you why I get looked at sometimes from the left with raised eyebrows. I tell them all the time, rich don't pay taxes. What do you mean? They get us to pay their taxes. Who are the rich? Investors? Business owners? Their money is tied into. When you say this man is a billionaire, he's not like Scrooge McDuck. He's not jumping into a big vault and swimming in his money. No. He's a billionaire because he has taken his money and he has tied it up in investments, angel accounts, getting small businesses going. Yes, he asks for return on his investment. That's why he's a billionaire. But his money is into the system working. The loans you take out to buy your house, the business loans you take out to open your small business come from him or her. All they ask is when you pay those loans back, they want their share of the return. That's why they call it an investment. And when you tax these billionaires, millionaires, these people who invest, when you say we're going to jack your taxes up by 20, 30, 40, 65%, what do you think they do? Do you think they look around and they go, well, he's right. I haven't been paying my fair share, so yeah, I'm just going to write you this big check every year, and here you go, Mr. Government. I'm sorry. I should have been paying more. No, they look around and they say, unless you're mentally deficient, unless you're stupid, in which you won't be a billionaire too much longer, they look around and they say, oh my God, I'm going to lose money. I have to recoup this. So they don't tie up more of their money into business startups, into the banking industry, into Wall Street. They keep more of their money because they have to pay taxes. If they own a business, small business or large business, it doesn't matter. They go, oh crap, I'm going to lose more money. So they don't hire. They make us peons work just a little bit harder, a little bit more overtime. They don't hire as many people. You don't get a raise because they can't afford it because they're going to lose. You have to show a profit to stay in business. If you start recording losses, after a few years, the banks say, well, you have no credit limit. Next thing you know, you're shut down. That's how business works. And I'm not just saying this because I'm some ignoramus off the street. My degree is in business. You have to show a profit. And when the government is raping you, you have to find other ways to show a profit. You don't hire people. You don't give raises. You jack the prices up on your goods and services. And guess who pays for it? Oh, gasp! The everyday working person. Congratulations, government, you've screwed us again. Now, that being in your mind, let's look at this for the next 5 minutes before we take a bottom of the hour break. Former Vice President Joseph R. Biden, the mighty void between his ears being ever so prevalent, has vowed to raise taxes only on individuals earning more than $400,000 annually. But critics contend that this economic plan will wind up draining the wallets of middle-class families as well. In other news, water is wet. And there goes the train. How about that? The normal noises in here. Yep, if you're listening to the Hardcore Patriot, this is just where I live. Anyways, a report from Stanford University's Hoover Institution found that Mr. Biden's taxation, insurance, regulatory, and energy proposals would, in the long run, reduce full-time equivalent employment by about 3% or 4.9 million jobs. He is going to sacrifice 4.9 million jobs. He don't care. He's got his money. China's paying him. Russia's paying him. Let's go on. The Biden program also would shrink real gross domestic product per capita by 8% and the capital stock per person by 15%, resulting in a $6,500 hit by the 2030 in median income household. You are going to lose $6,500 a year while everything around you is increasing. It goes on to say, he hits the economy from three directions at the same time. He punishes work, he punishes investment, and he makes us less productive. A University of Chicago economics professor, Casey Mulligan, a former economic advisor to President Trump, who co-authored the report, which was released Monday, said. And people understand from living through Obama years that Obama just kind of hit you in a bunch of different ways, and it started to add up in the end. He's exactly right. I, for one, had to sit in a meeting during the Obamacare tragedy, and we had to make a hard decision. Are we going to lay off people or are we going to cut their hours? If everybody gets their hours cut, I know they're not going to make as much money, but at least everybody will have a job. At least everybody will have a job. What a horrible thing to have to do. It still scars me. To have to go back and tell all the part-time people, well, guys, you were working 30, 33 hours a week. Now you're going to work 28 because we can't have you going over 30 hours. Otherwise, this company is going to take such a hit with Obamacare that we will not be able to keep our doors open and nobody will have a job. What kind of option is that? But yet here we are. And this is, Biden is going to be, he's going to be Obama stupid. Instead of Obama light, Biden's going to be Obama stupid. Obama was smart. He was devious. He was a commie. He wanted, you got an activist as a president for 8 years. What did you think was going to happen? He set the whole nation on fire. And Trump's been having to put it out ever since. Biden is Obama stupid. So there's Obama's tax plan. Good luck. Bend over. Here it comes. Yeah. And they're going to excuse them. They don't care. Like I said, every time a Democrat looks up, they're looking for a pile of money that they can suck into Washington, D.C. so they can make their profit on it. I'm already at the bottom of the hour. I'm Alan Ray. No, I'm not in a good mood. If you've noticed, I haven't been on social media for a few days. I'm just kind of kicking back, taking it easy. I'm in a horrible mood, and I'm not going to spew my darkness on everybody except around my own show. And those of you who listen to me know that I can rant with the best of them. And that's what I'm going to do. When we come back, we got all kinds of stupidity and insane. Look, guys, we're 10 days out from an election. And the fate of this nation is definitely at hand. We have been infiltrated by these idiots. Not only are they communists and socialists, but they're not really smart. And they're leading us down a hole, the likes of which we will not recover from. Got a whole lot more to go. Don't go anywhere. I will be back in just a moment. Happy Friday night.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Welcome back. I'm Alan Ray, the Hardcore Patriot. Regardless of what you've heard in the past, patriot is not a four-letter word. I love this country. I love this nation. I love the people in it, even though some of them have gone terribly astray. And I love you for listening in. I know there's not many of you. Hope, it's weird. This show has like a time delay effect. I look at my numbers and they're out there. The show's out there. And months will go by and I'll look at them again. And it just seems like people just tune into the back issues and they keep listening to them. And the numbers go up. Great numbers. It just takes a month or two. I got to figure out a way. To, when this show breaks, to get more people to listen to it right off the bat. Because some of the things I talk about, this is infuriating to me, okay? Both on this show and Circumspice the Right Side of Michigan, which Circumspice the Right Side of Michigan airs on Sunday night at 8 o'clock live. That's a show I do live. I go on Spotify and it posts on Twitter. The KLRN Radio runs it live. KLRNradio.net. KLRNradio.net/chat is where the chat room is. Now, I have to pre-record this show because I'm working when this show breaks. But Sunday nights, I do Circumspice live. And it's a blast. We have a good time. But I encourage you to get on KLRNradio.net, America's podcast network. There's a whole bunch of really great talent. I'm not one of them, but I tend to straggle along behind and try to pick up the broken pieces. I'm the janitor. But sometimes I get frustrated. Sometimes I get infuriated because I will bring something out and I will talk about it in depth. And then days later, it's either on the mainstream media or other shows, other podcasts pick it up and act like it's news. And I'm like, I have already talked about this. This is old news. It's not even new news. But what can you do? What can you do? I guess I just have to be more patient. I don't know. Maybe if I go out on a street corner somewhere and make a total idiot of myself and get national attention, maybe somebody's going to listen. But then you have to step back and you have to think to yourself, okay, I am one of thousands and thousands of voices. The people who do listen to this right off the bat are going to talk to other people. It's going to draw their attention into some of the things I'm talking about. Maybe, just maybe, I'm having a little bit of an effect. I don't know. But I'm going to continue doing this because there are people out there who do listen to this. And I want to be on record. I don't care if I have to someday stand trial for being on the right. I don't care if I have to stand trial for being a conservative someday. And the way these commies, these socialist Democrats talk, someday I might have to. I want it all out there on record. You're darn right I think you're destroying the world. You're darn right I think you're destroying the nation. You're darn right I don't think you have the best interest of the people at heart. Because if you did, you would be preaching freedom. You would be preaching a very tiny government, as my friend Orty says, that can be drowned in a bathtub if needed. You don't care about the people of this nation. You care about your cut of the money that's going through this nation. That's what you care about. Social media they're complicit in the crime. Unless you are hiding under a rock. This is the funniest thing in the world. Washington Post came out with that Hunter Biden's laptop story. Twitter, Facebook, all the big shooters, they tried their best to bury that story. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you. Wake up. The Post reporting on a trove of emails detailing Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings continues to thrive online despite efforts from Twitter and Facebook to obscure the stories, data shows. This is from the New York Post. An initial exclusive story published October 14th had garnered nearly 5 million views on the Post site as of Wednesday afternoon, with over 3.25 million unique visitors, according to the parse.ly, a tool publishers use to track web analytics for their content. Some 37.7% of that traffic came from Facebook or Twitter. despite those platforms quickly moving to restrict access to the story, citing unspecified concerns about its veracity and the provenance of the information. Now, what it was is, and it doesn't take you too long to be on social media to realize, they want to squelch anything that hinders Joe Biden from winning this election. They're being run by a bunch of little brainwashed commie nerds. And when they see something that's going to really damage their chosen one, they're going after him. And they locked out the Post for publishing this. And really, honestly, if I was the New York Post, I would have lawyers just jumping all over Twitter and Facebook. This needs to come out. I want to know what's on that laptop. You know, the difference between the whole Russia thing, that the Democrats are still pushing, even though it's been completely debunked. The difference between Russia, what they call Russiagate when before he was elected, and this Hunter Biden laptop thing is the way everything came about. They don't think we remember Barack Obama with his little sanctimonious look down his nose at all of us unwashed masses and go, yeah, our election's impossible to infiltrate. Russia's not interfering with our election. Well, no, Hillary Clinton was paying Russia to interfere with our election. And now we know that Obama and Biden knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that Hillary Clinton was paying. She was colluding with the Russians to make sure Donald Trump wasn't going to win. She was just a victim of her own stupidity because, well, apparently it turned against her. She lost. And I'm watching this debate last night and watching Biden accuse Donald Trump of, well, you're working with the Russians. You got to bring that Russian thing out. Russia. You listen to the Democrats, they sound like parrots. Russia. Well, Putin just came out, and I had this on my show last time. 2 weeks ago, I brought out that Putin said, I side more with the Biden campaign because they're closely related to what we do here in Russia. The whole socialist communist idea, that's the Democrats. I kind of side with them. You didn't hear anything about that. And it's another one of those things I brought out 2 weeks ago. And because I don't have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listeners, it's just a bump in the middle of nothing, I guess. I'm sorry, it gets frustrating to me sometimes. Yeah, I'm looking at the news, and it makes me laugh. Bernie Sanders is already positioning himself. If irony had a face, this would be it. Politico.com says, Bernie Sanders makes a play for Biden labor secretary. Let that sink in for a minute. Bernie Sanders makes a play for Biden's labor secretary. A man who has never held a job in his life outside of an elected official wants to be the labor secretary. A man who doesn't know how to work, who has made his millions off the taxpayers' dimes, wants to tell the country how its labor force should be run. Who votes these people in? I really want to know. I came across this here a while back. Somebody on Twitter, I think. Could have been Facebook. I don't know. I try to stay away from politics on Facebook because if you even hint that you're on the right side of politics on Facebook, they'll just ban you. Twitter will just squelch you. Facebook will just ban you. Well, who votes these idiots in? And somebody asked that about, I think, Pelosi or Feinstein, one of them. And just out of the blue, I put, well, ballot harvesters vote him in, of course. And then I started thinking about my response. It just came out of my brain that way, and I just wrote it down, and then I started thinking about it. It's like, you're probably right. Who votes for Bernie Sanders? How stupid do you have to be to continue to vote this freeloader in? And now this freeloader wants to be the Biden labor secretary. If Joe Biden wins this election, this is the kind of government you're going to have. Going to go right back into this several layers deep, corrupt gaggle of morons who have been sucking the wealth out of this country and putting it in their own bank accounts for decades. There'll be no changes. Crazy. While all this is going on, remember Ghislaine Maxwell? Is it Ghislaine or Ghislaine? I don't know. It's like GIF or GIF. What is it? I don't care. I'm going to call her Ghislaine. She lost her fight to keep Jeffrey Epstein testimony sealed. This came from Miami Herald. A federal judge, appeals court, dealt Ghislaine Maxwell, the alleged madam to disgrace financier Jeff Epstein, twin blows late Monday. By Monday, this came out what? October 19th. Got updated. Anyways, dealt her twin blows late Monday by declining to consolidate her appeals in numerous overlapping cases and striking down her effort to thwart release of a controversial deposition she gave in a now settled civil lawsuit. The three-judge Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit held more than 2 hours of oral arguments last week and issued a Monday afternoon order holding that a lower court judge did not err in ordering the release of 418-page deposition from April 2016 that could shed new light on the Epstein empire. We have reviewed all of the arguments raised by defendant appellant Maxwell on appeal and find them to be without merit, the judge wrote, also turning away a request for a consolidation with Maxwell's criminal case in the Southern District of New York. We deny the motion to consolidate this appeal with a pending appeal in the United States versus Maxwell. The ruling affirmed a decision over the summer by a U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska to release hundreds of documents from a 2015 civil suit involving Maxwell and Epstein accuser Virginia Roberts Guifer. I guess that's how you say it. The case was settled in 2017, and the Miami Herald sued for the release of the documents following its groundbreaking November 2018 Perversion of Justice series, which spotlighted how Epstein escaped serious punishment despite widespread accusations that he allegedly sexually abused underage girls. Epstein was arrested in July 2019 and found dead in a jail cell the following month, determined to be suicide. He got suicided. So where do we go from here? They've really done a good job of burying everything that's going on. Maxwell holds the key. I'm surprised she's still alive. I'm personally absolutely shocked that she hasn't been suicided too. Because it'd be a convenient way for a whole lot of people to escape scrutiny. And I'm sorry, everything on Epstein Island needs to come out. Everything. I don't care who it implicates. I don't care who it fingers. Left, right, CEO, royalty, you name it. I guarantee you, if they take all of these people down, you're going to watch the human trafficking problem in this nation get reduced by several percent. Now, I have noticed since they busted her, that suddenly, just out of the blue, and I don't know if there's a correlation here. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know if there's a correlation or not. But suddenly, it seems like since they took her down, these human trafficking busts have become more and more frequent. Is she spilling the beans? Is she giving them insight on something? I don't know. I'm curious. We're so busy looking at this election, looking at this coronavirus, looking at things that we have no control over. We can control Ghislaine Maxwell. I want to know what's on her diary. I want to know what's in the Hunter Biden laptop, because there's a lot of rumors going around that there's a lot of things on Hunter Biden's laptop that will implicate both him and Joe Biden and Jim Biden. They're trying to keep this all contained. They don't want the media, and by them I say the media, and I've called them this before, and I still hold to my guns. The mainstream media is the lapdog of the Democrat Party. All you have to do is scroll through the headlines to find that out. Even when they're forced to report the truth, if you look at their headlines, which they're hoping that's all you read, are so misleading they will try to sway you away from the truth. To me, it's just crazy. How? I'm still scratching my head. How did you on the left select Joe Biden to represent your party to the American people during this election? He is everything that you claim to hate. And I've said this before, and I know I sound like a broke record, but he is a wealthy, establishment, white, old, corrupt politician. Everything that the AOCs of the world detest. Everything that these social justice warriors detest. Everything that these spindly-armed little Antifa pukes in Portland are railing against, he represents. So how are you still voting for Democrats? I don't know what goes through your mind. Just as a note before we take off today, of course, Market Watch is finally coming out and saying, ooh, it's daunting to think about. With no stimulus deal, much of America's temporary financial safety net will expire December 31st. Okay. Do we need a safety net? How does this sound? You want a safety net? Focus the safety net on people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes, heart problems, stuff like that. The elderly, people over 60. Let the rest of us get back to work. We don't need a safety net. We need our jobs back. We need to get businesses going again. Oh, but there's a spike in COVID-19. Yeah, but the death rate is pretty much flatlined. It's the flu. We're going to get it again. All summer long, we have set ourselves up to have this spike. Instead of opening up everything during the summer while people could get out, people could just stay outside, and you know as well as I do, once this type of weather starts, once fall breaks, once the weather starts turning crappy and rainy and nasty, that's when all the stuff hits. That's when everybody stays indoors. That's when everybody breathes everybody else's air. Instead of building herd immunity, we have set ourselves up for what's about to happen right now. And yes, we are going to get spikes in cases. And yes, people are going to die. But guess what? People are dying anyways. More people are dying of heart disease, cancer, things like that. They don't want to talk about that. I was listening to Joe Biden last night in his infinite stupidity sit there and berate Donald Trump. Well, which teachers are going to die? You want people to die. He's a fearmonger. He's made it perfectly clear. If he becomes president of the United States, he's going to try to do a national mask mandate. Thank God we now have a Supreme Court that doesn't go by feels, but goes by Constitution. Who will look at that and go, nope, can't do it. You can't do a national mask mandate. Who's going to enforce it? Are you going to put people in camps because they don't wear a mask? We have set ourselves up to fail. Yes, we are going into the winter. Yes, we don't have a cure for COVID-19. We don't have a cure for the common cold, and it's a coronavirus too. The party of science should know this. They're not the party of science. They're the party of feels, and they're mostly idiots. We have set ourselves up for what's about to happen. Will there be a spike in deaths? Probably, because it's the way we test things. Oh, look, this guy just wrapped himself around a tree doing 110 miles an hour on a motorcycle. Oh, tested positive for COVID-19. I guess he died of coronavirus. Doesn't matter that his brain was found 300 yards down the road inside of his helmet still. Died of coronavirus. Yes, people are going to catch this. People are going to get sick. If you're young, if you're vibrant, if you've cared to take care of yourself for the past 55 years, you'll live through it. The odds of you dying are very, 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 very small. Let's face it, that's what this is about, is dying. We don't want people to die. People die anyways. And what they're trying to bury is the numbers came out a little while back that shows that we're actually on track to have the same or a little bit fewer deaths this year than we had last year overall. People, I guess, aren't out doing stupid things, so they're not dying in stupid ways. Who knows? Our death rate really hasn't had a bump. What has gone up is the various problems, the various ways people are dying. There's more suicides, more opioid deaths. You can't have people stagnant. You can't keep people locked down. The poverty level is going through the roof. One thing that Donald Trump could have done better, he did pretty good last night about relaying this information. What he could have done better is he should have jumped, and I wish he could just carry a straight line of thought for 2 straight minutes and say, look, you keep the country locked down, you are increasing the poverty level to a point where, as a government, you will not be able to handle it no matter who you tax. You will not be able to. Go ask the people who have lost a family member to suicide because of this lockdown, Joe. Go ask somebody who has lost a family member to this opioid epidemic because all they can do is sit home and think about how miserable they are, Joe. Ask those people. They died too, didn't they? Go ask the people who have cancer, who had their treatments canceled or postponed because of this lockdown. And by the time it got back to where it was open again, it was too late for them and they died anyway, Joe. Go ask these people. Go ask the people that went home and quietly hanged themselves in the closet somewhere because their business failed and they have no way of making ends meet anymore, Joe. So one thing I wish he would have expanded on just a little bit more. And if Biden gets this presidency, I guarantee you there will be another lockdown. Every time a case of the sniffles goes around, got to lock down the country. Looks like we got more victims. Great. When we have victims, we have more Democrat voters. It's the way it goes. I'm Alan Ray. This is a Hardcore Patriot. Still in a bad mood. I'll get over it. I'll be fine. We do have an election coming up, folks. Vote. Vote like you've never voted before. Or as I seen somebody say on Twitter, vote so hard you need a cigarette afterwards. I don't even smoke. We truly are deciding the fate of this nation. I have never felt more strongly about this. Is Donald Trump my ideal president? No, he's not. And I know there's people out there that just idolize him. I understand him. I know he's an outsider. And I know that he is exposing a lot of things that a lot of this nation has never been exposed to before. I've known about them. And when people are shocked about things, I tend to have to be careful because I'm looking at that going, how do you not know about this stuff? But people don't pay attention. Now it's in the national news. I will vote for him in 2020 because I know what Biden represents. And I also know that Biden will get into that presidency. And I have the sneaky feeling that about 90 days into it, they're going to declare him mentally unfit. And guess who's going to be president? Kamala Harris. And she is a commie. Join me Sunday night for Circumspice, the right side of Michigan, where we talk about everything Michigan from a conservative point of view. Not just politics, but we will dive into politics. We talk about sports. We talk about football. We talk about fishing. Of course, we have the fishing report. What would Circumspice be without the fishing report, right? Hunting, survival, you name it. Join me then. Next week, next Friday, we're going to have an I Do This for free. I don't know how much longer that show is going to go on. It's getting harder and harder to even produce that show, but we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. KLRNRadio.net, America's podcast network. There's so much talent on here, so many good shows. Something's got to appeal to you. Listen in. I'm Alan Ray. We'll talk again soon.